It lasted only a few seconds, yet those seconds were enough to ignite one of the most heated debates the fandom had seen in years. During an awards ceremony watched by millions, the camera cut briefly to Heughan and Caitríona Balfe sharing the same frame. There was no dialogue, no announcement, nothing overtly dramatic. And yet, almost instantly, social media erupted as if something forbidden had just been revealed. At first glance, the moment seemed harmless. Two longtime co-stars standing close, reacting naturally as names were called and applause filled the room. But context matters, and for these two, context is everything. Years of speculation, fan theories, and emotional investment had turned even the smallest interaction into something charged. Within minutes, clips of the moment began circulating online. The footage was slowed down, zoomed in, replayed from different angles, and analyzed frame by frame. A glance was described as lingering, a smile as loaded, a pause as intentional. What might have passed unnoticed with any other pair suddenly became evidence in a case people felt they had been building for a long time. The awards setting only intensified the reaction. This was not a casual interview or a behind-the-scenes clip, but a formal, highly controlled environment. Every appearance is rehearsed, every seat planned, every camera cue deliberate. That led many to ask why this particular shot happened at all, and whether it was truly accidental. Some fans interpreted the moment as deeply personal. To them, it looked like a silent exchange, the kind that only two people with shared history could have. They spoke of familiarity, unspoken understanding, and emotions that could not be scripted. In their eyes, the awards stage had briefly cracked open a private reality. Others pushed back just as strongly. They argued that projecting meaning onto such a brief interaction was unfair and invasive. To this group, the debate said more about fan obsession than about the people on screen. Two professionals reacting naturally in public, they insisted, should not be turned into a headline. What made the debate explode was not disagreement, but certainty. Both sides spoke as if they were defending facts rather than feelings. The language quickly shifted from curiosity to accusation, from discussion to division. Anyone questioning the significance of the moment was accused of denial, while those reading into it were labeled delusional. Media outlets quickly noticed the spike in engagement. Articles appeared dissecting the clip, often framed as neutral analysis but fueled by the same speculation dominating social feeds. Headlines asked whether the moment confirmed something or reignited old questions. In doing so, they amplified the controversy far beyond the original few seconds. The history between Sam and Caitríona made neutrality almost impossible. Their long collaboration had created a shared mythology in the public eye, one that blurred the line between characters and actors. Many viewers no longer approached their interactions without that lens, making every appearance feel symbolic whether it was meant to be or not. What was striking was how quickly the award itself faded into the background. The reason they were there, the recognition being given, and the other winners of the night were largely forgotten. The conversation narrowed until it revolved entirely around interpretation, not achievement. A professional milestone was overshadowed by personal speculation. As the clip continued to circulate, emotions escalated. Some fans expressed hope, others frustration, and some outright anger. The moment became a mirror, reflecting not just opinions about Sam and Caitríona, but about entitlement, boundaries, and the desire to find meaning in what may be nothing more than coincidence. By the end of the night, one thing was clear. That brief awards moment had tapped into something much deeper than curiosity. It exposed unresolved tensions within the fandom and raised uncomfortable questions about how closely audiences watch the people they admire. And as the debate grew louder, it became impossible to ignore that the controversy was no longer about what happened on stage, but about why everyone needed it to mean something. As the debate continued to spiral, it became clear that the controversy had very little to do with the awards moment itself. What people were really arguing about was meaning, not motion. The brief interaction between Heughan and Caitríona Balfe acted like a spark dropped onto years of unresolved assumptions. The fire that followed was fueled by expectation rather than evidence. At the center of the discussion were two opposing interpretations that could not coexist. One side believed the moment exposed something long hidden, a truth slipping through the cracks of a carefully managed public image. To them, the subtlety was the point, because anything real would have to be quiet. The other side saw the reaction itself as proof of how far fandom had drifted from reality. What made the disagreement so intense was emotional investment. For many fans, Heughan and Balfe were not just actors but symbols tied to years of storytelling and shared history. Their on-screen partnership blurred into off-screen assumptions, making it difficult to separate character chemistry from personal connection. Over time, those assumptions hardened into narratives that felt personal to defend. Social media amplified every extreme. Posts expressing certainty were rewarded with attention, while more cautious takes were drowned out. Algorithms favored passion over nuance, pushing the most dramatic interpretations to the surface. In that environment, doubt was treated as betrayal and restraint as denial. The silence from both actors only added to the intensity. Without clarification, people filled the gap with their own conclusions, each one shaped by prior belief. Silence, whether intentional or not, became another piece of evidence to argue over. The absence of comment was read in dozens of contradictory ways. This is where the debate shifted from curiosity to something more uncomfortable. Questions of entitlement began to surface, about how much access fans believe they deserve. Some argued that years of openness in interviews justified deeper interpretation. Others countered that no amount of public work erases the right to privacy. Media coverage played its part by framing the discussion as a mystery rather than a reaction. Headlines asked what the moment meant, instead of why people needed it to mean anything at all. By centering speculation, coverage legitimized projection. The debate was no longer fringe, it was mainstream. What often went missing from the conversation was the simplest explanation. Award shows are chaotic, emotional environments where reactions happen in real time. Cameras capture fragments without context, and viewers assemble narratives afterward. A glance, a smile, or a pause can mean everything or absolutely nothing. Yet simplicity rarely satisfies when anticipation has been building for years. For some fans, letting go of the narrative felt like losing a story they had emotionally invested in. The debate became a form of grief, not over a confirmed truth, but over the possibility that there never was one. As arguments grew more personal, lines were drawn. People accused each other of disrespect, obsession, or blindness. The moment itself faded further into the background, replaced by commentary about the commentary. What began as a reaction to an awards clip turned into a referendum on fandom culture. In the end, the debate revealed more about the audience than the actors. It exposed how easily meaning is assigned when silence meets expectation. It showed how narratives can take on a life of their own, independent of the people at their center. And it raised a question that lingered long after the clip stopped circulating. Was the awards moment truly significant, or was it simply a mirror reflecting what viewers wanted to see? The lack of a definitive answer may be the most honest outcome of all. Because sometimes, the loudest debates are not about hidden truths, but about our discomfort with ambiguity. And it raised a question that lingered long after the clip stopped circulating.